It's probably a bit late now to do any last-minute Christmas shopping in time for tomorrow. Sorry to break that to you, but shoppers across the UK have been out all weekend to grab a last-minute bargain. Yesterday was dubbed Super Saturday as it was the last full day of trading before Christmas, and shoppers were out in force. Well, our business reporter Sebastian Chrispin joins us now. How much have people been spending this weekend, Sebastian?
Well, yeah, so this survey is looking at Super Saturday. It's the last full day of shopping before Christmas. Obviously, shops are open today, but because it's Sunday, they're open for a shorter period. But yesterday, apparently there were 17.4 million people who were planning to go out, who were planning to make purchases, and they were going to spend a total of £1.6 billion. Those figures cover people who were going to make online purchases and go to the shops. And if you were in the shops yesterday and you thought it was a bit busy, that's because there were 14 million of us who were planning to go out and do shopping yesterday.
And I think possibly a lot of them were men, leaving it to the last minute. I know that's a horrible stereotype, but I'm afraid it's true, isn't it?
The survey doesn't provide a breakdown between the sexes, but it does say the person we are most likely to buy a last-minute gift for is our partner. And apparently the so-called grab-and-go items, the things that you see in purchase, you're most likely to buy toiletries and chocolates. So you can interpret those figures as you will.
Yeah, they're not very imaginative, are they? Fine as a stocking filler, if anyone's watching at home. What about Black Friday, though? Because that was the other big day in November, wasn't it, when people were supposed to be getting ready for Christmas and getting the bargains.
Well, exactly. Another Black Friday, another colourful name for a different event in the retail calendar. So it's the last Friday of November when retailers make big discounts to encourage us to spend money. And it shows that it works. We definitely spent more in Black Friday this year than we did last year. And the Black Friday spending pushed up the overall retail sales for November. But there are a couple of interesting things going on here. The first is, while the overall amount that we spent went up, the number of people actually going into shops is going down. So it's quite a stark reminder of this shift towards online shopping that many of us are doing. The second that many analysts are interpreting is that the money that we spent on Black Friday is money that we probably would have spent at some point anyway. So it just distorts the figures slightly. Perhaps we bought a Christmas present early, or we delayed spending we would have done over the summer. It's not necessarily new money that we're spending just because we were drawn in by the great offer.
What's the year been like then for retailers generally, and what's the outlook?
Well, we don't have figures for the whole year yet, and even those figures at the beginning I said about Super Saturday was based on people's intentions. But in the year to date, what we can say is that there is a picture of growth. We are buying more than we were in the same period a year earlier. But there are lots of challenges facing retailers. One of them is this shift to online shopping. You'll have heard recently about the problem faced by Toys R Us. This was a big toy retailer who invested heavily in having a shop presence. They hadn't built on their online offering, and their business suffered as a result. But beyond that change in consumer habits, there's a number of economic things going on which make life potentially challenging for retailers. One of them is that the pound is comparatively weak. That means that if retailers are having to import goods to sell, it becomes more expensive, so it weighs on their balance sheet a little bit more. The second is the cost of living, inflation, that's going up. And crucially, it's going up faster than people's wage packets. So the pound in people's pockets isn't going as far. They have less money to spend on goods. And the final point to mention is interest rates. We saw interest rates go up in November. And while we are not expecting an immediate interest rate rise, they are on an upward trajectory. And when interest rates go up, people are more likely to save rather than spend. So that's a further pressure on retailers.
Sebastian, thank you very much.